Go ahead.
Go ahead. Coach, you've been doing this for a few years now. How do you like how this team is playing at this point in the season?
I think that we're showing signs of getting a lot better. And we've had some letdowns here and there, but those are things that I think seeing us play out of them has been important to me in terms of how they've done it, and I think our defense is hitting its stride in terms of what we're trying to do. We're getting better attention to detail. I think offensively, our execution is getting better. We seem to be a little bit more sound in terms of the pace and just the right reads that we want to make.
You go back to 2 years ago, Jared's the leading scorer, Deshaun starts to emerge. Last year, Deshaun's the leading scorer, LaQuint starts to emerge. This year, LaQuinton's the leading scorer. It looks like maybe Sam's starting to emerge. Do you think Sam can be that second guy for you guys?
I think so. As long as Sam, keeps the focus on the right things in terms of, taking what is given to him and making the most of those opportunities. I love the energy he's playing with. Everybody I know is talking about his scoring, but defensively he's really doing a heck of a job for us, and has sort of become one of those guys that we can put on guys to lock people down, if you will. And the fact that he is scoring the ball has been very beneficial to us, and he's made some timely baskets, I should say, and that's good to see. I want Sam being aggressive, and when we get that position, that area scoring for us, we're a better team.
Dad, I'm sure you get a lot out of video review all the time, but can you really make a lot of hay off the Penn State tape simply because it was such a damaging loss to you, and because apparently there were some correctable mistakes that were made during the game by you players?
Yeah, it's amazing when you go back and look at where we were at that point and kind of the level that we've been playing at. We put ourselves in a very good position, but just could not make the plays. And give Penn State credit, they made some big time shots, some great offensive rebounds, those types of things, and we couldn't finish it down the stretch. Had our chances and didn't get the job done.
And after a game like that, are players particularly receptive to coaching simply because of what the outcome of the game? And it was.
Yeah, I think so. Kids are so different these days.
Yeah.
But I think that was an attention getter in terms of hey, we need to focus and stay connected and everything that we're possibly doing. Everybody that's on the floor at that particular time has a job to do, and that job's expected to be done if we want to have a chance to win. And I think that's something that definitely came out of that game.
The things that DJ Newbill was able to do in that game, I think he did some similar things. They beat Indiana a week or two later with some late game heroics. Is it as simple as changing a plan on him, or do you need to address an entire team defensive outlook to contain a guy like that when he gets going like that?
Yeah, he can get you in so many different ways. So I think from that standpoint, it does take everybody on the floor, doing their parts. And if one guy rotates, then we got to help the helper. And it's definitely a team effort to guard a guy like that. Now, with that said, you got Frazier out there that can go off the bounce, can do a lot of different things, and Taylor against us was 4 for 7 from 3, and hadn't shot that type of percentage. But so we know we got to run him our challenger shots the best that we can.
Going back to Sam, Thad, I've heard you say a couple times that you've been here about Sam. It startled me every time you said it, that he could be as good as anyone that's played here. Is he showing signs of actually heading that direction, and what does he have to do yet to get there?
Well, I think the biggest thing he's going to do is continue to play at this level, and not saying get 20 points or anything like that, but just bring what he has to the table. And it's not the dunks; those are part of what he does. A lot of guys do things, jump hook over left shoulder, he can dunk, but it's all the other things, finishing around the basket, making his free throws, knocking down some threes. Those are the things that I think complete kind of who he is, assist to turnover ratio, those types of things.
Yeah, if he continues to go that way, how much difference will that make for this team?
Well, it definitely gives us another guy out there that you have to be concerned about in terms of putting the ball in the basket. I think it opens things up in terms of driving opportunities, driving kicks, even posting the basketball. I think Sam, when he's playing like that, puts pressure on the defense to rotate more, and those are things that I think all coaches look for. The more, the better.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you said last week when you were asked about Q's defense is that he's trying harder, and he just said that he didn't ever think it was an effort issue. Is he trying harder without knowing it, or what is he doing that's helping both himself and the team?
Well, I think first, I think he's more prideful in what he's doing defensively. I think that you just see his gestures in terms of pointing and talking and doing things with his teammates that means he's communicating. So therefore, he's thinking in advance what he has to do. And a lot of times that's what defense is. And I think for him, so much of it's just that comfort level, that confidence level of, hey, I can definitely do this. I've never really been asked in my career to be a defender at the level I need to be. And to Q's defense, you look across the Big Ten, most teams have a really, really good player at his position. And I think that aided Deshaun Thomas as well in his time here. He was normally guarding a really, really good basketball player. So with that said, I think he's found like, hey, if I want to make an impact in the game, I got to take this more serious and make it count.
You said earlier that you thought that first Penn State game was an attention getter. Do you think it was particularly so for him? Can you trace maybe this progress that he's shown on defense to that game?
I hadn't thought about that. I'm sure it could because
It's been about a month.
Yeah, and Taylor hitting those threes and not that they weren't all his responsibility, but I think that would definitely be something that has probably helped him. And just I think Q is in the greatest shape of his life. I think he's feeling. I mean, he had probably more energy in practice than I've ever seen him have yesterday. But he knows going to this game, like they literally beat him up in game one. I mean, it was amazing what they were able to do to him.
That players go back and I think they universally think that Penn State was the rock bottom point of your year. And I think an emotional change is ensued from that. But when you look and they have this no more my bad motto that they have now, and it was like a failed switch at the end of regulation that allowed Newell to get that shot. I mean, do you see that those kind of tactical errors are now not happening as much?
Yeah, I think that there's more accountability in terms of the respect they have to do the job in terms of what they're trying to do, and that's the beauty of a 6-month season and playing as many games as we play. There's so many teachable moments, and in that game, as Rusty alluded to earlier, there was a lot of things that happened that maybe we could have controlled better that we didn't do. So yeah, you look back at those and say, hey, this can't happen again, and I hope that's been somewhat of a rallying cry, because I think that's the uniqueness of athletics.
And when you look back at that game, I mean, is it tangibly different for you to look at it based on what you're seeing in film from recent games?
Yeah, but you look at the first 20 minutes of the game the other night, and there was probably some similarities in terms of what it was. So I'm not going to sit up here and say that everything is we're living in utopia here in Columbus, but like I said, I don't know if we could have played ourselves out of that a month ago in the position that we were in.
Hey, that's a third. One more, just because I asked you about that first half after the game. I'm wondering, now that you look at it, what do you see there? Do you see kind of the same things that paralleled you guys against Penn State, or I mean, what was that?
No, well, the one comment I remember, we didn't make shots. I think we were 7 for 28, or even worse than that in the last 25 minutes of the game against Penn State. But we weren't as sound as we needed to be, and as sound as we were in the second half against Minnesota in terms of how things transpired for us to score. Defensively, we made them make some tough shots, which Minnesota did that in the first half. Northwestern did that the other day in the first half. It's going to happen, but it's just staying with it possession after possession. And I thought that was maybe the biggest difference from a month ago.
Don, a lot of questions today about how the players have been different since the Penn State game. Did the coaching staff change anything? Messaging, focus, strategy, just anything since that loss?
No, I don't think so. Every game presents some type of tactical approach, motivational approach, mental, physical approach. I don't know if we've changed a ton, and I know I haven't. Like, okay, we're gonna scrap this and do this. We've stuck with what we've done and just really tried to. Maybe the one thing would be simplifying what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Did you have to lighten up on them a little bit because they were so down at that point?
No, they didn't happen.
Not have to be more positive or anything?
No. You make your bed, you sleep on it.
Thad, is it easier coaching this time of year? Do you find guys, listening closer? Because the legacy of this team in this season is about to be played out.
I had that talk with them the other day I don't think I say a ton compared to maybe what some coaches say. But what I do say is very important, and we need to cling on to it. We need to listen. And I hope that, as we finish out February here and head into March, I like where the team is. Probably the biggest thing, Clay, I think, is just from the standpoint that in this league right now, it's every single game it's on, and to look and say, gosh, we got to get these next two. We got to try to get the jump ball tip on Thursday night, and then we'll go from there. It's how it plays itself out.
I just want to ask you quick. Potentially, Aaron is very close to the career Big Ten steals record. And I don't know what more you can say about it. It seems like, though, the steals he get are different than a lot of guys. There's a lot of gambling involved at that time. He gets them on the ball. Is that what separates him in your mind? What separates him defensively? The steals that he's gotten in his career.
Absolutely. I think this from the steals that he gets, like you're saying, in transition, digging the ball out of help positions, be it in the post or guys top he drives, he knocks away the steal he had the other night when Q challenged a shot, the guy put it down and he caught it almost before it hit the ground. I think those are things that would definitely. And you look, I don't know how many he has, 400 steals or whatever, but how many of them just come man on man and he takes the ball from a guy. Like you're saying, you see most of those great steal guys shooting passing lanes, and we don't deny. And but he finds a way to get them.
He gets them without getting himself out of position. Sometimes guys get them.
Yeah, and if they miss, they shoot a layup or something like that. Yeah, he very rarely, ironically, did that once in the Penn State game the first time. Yeah, but. Somebody should have blocked it.
Okay.
All right, guys, thank you.
All right, Coach.